righty. Get some people coming on here. Nope. All right, guys. Welcome back to another live episode of Pints with Paul. I'm Palm Beaches Paul, your local realtor here in South Florida. And happy Wednesday to everybody. And I got some great news. We are going to have no more political ads. Yes, the election's over. Yay. But I am celebrating with a preamble. That's my beer of choice tonight, a little light lager. And so welcome to the live stream, folks, and I hope everyone's had a good day as we hit the middle of the week here and we head towards the weekend. Interesting night. We're not going to go into all that, but it was interesting nonetheless. And so now that we're done with that, let's move forward and see what the rest of the year brings us. And as we go into 2025, we're going to be looking at the housing market and see what does that have in store for us. It's been a interesting year so far. 2024, not my favorite year for real estate, I'll tell you that much, but we're looking forward to what 2025 has, and hopefully we'll get some good stuff there. So let me get this music off here. So anyway, well, we have a guest. Last week I did the solo, but as I told you, I was going to be bringing people on with me, and I have a good friend from South Dakota here. I'm going to bring on our buddy and fellow YouTuber, Tristan. So let me bring him to the stage. Hello, sir.
Hey, everybody. Hey, Paul. Thanks for having me on. How are you doing?
Good, man. Good evening. And, just kind of like a day of just like, okay.
Yeah. That's done. Let's move on. Yeah.
It's done.
Yes. I'm happy to get this over with.
No more political text. Thank you. If we don't have any more political talk, although, this country, they'll have political talk, but whatever. So we're just glad to get done with it. And now let's see what 2025 has for us. Let's
do it.
See what kind of year we're going to have in real estate. Hopefully a good one. And we'll see where prices are. I know in my market in South Florida, the real estate market has been, it's had ups and downs. It's definitely slowed down quite a bit. This is the number one thing I kept hearing from people, obviously, was we're waiting till the election's over. Well, guess what, folks? The election is over. No more excuses. So let's start selling homes. Let's start buying homes, right? It's done. So
I saw a TikTok from one of my realtor friends, and she was doing a dance around a campfire, kind of like from the movie, what's the movie with Ryan Reynolds in it? I can't remember.
The one with Sandra Bullock?
Yep. And
my wife loves that movie.
He's dancing around the campfire, and the text was summoning all the buyers that said they were going to buy after the election.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of what I've been hearing from everybody. Oh, I'm waiting till the election. Well, okay, that was yesterday, so let's get the phone ringing.
We're really impatient. Come on, let's do this. Make things happen. That was yesterday. Old news. Moving on.
Right. It's just like let's give a day to breathe. Give everyone to. All right, we'll give you to the week. The next week. Next week we need to start seeing the phones ringing. So
that's right. That's how it goes.
But yeah, it's been an interesting year, 2024, and especially here in South Florida, we've have obviously our challenges here with high insurance, right? And we've had storms. We got the whole issue with condos. So, but people are still moving here. I mean, people like, some of the comments that I get on my channel, the videos is like, who in the right mind would move to Florida? And yet our population keeps going. We hit 23 million and they expect us to continually add more people, 2030. It's just they keep coming here. So apparently for some people, the sunshine, the beaches, and the lifestyle of a pina colada and a palm tree outweighs the expense of the cost of living. So
well, that's how you say it, right? Living in paradise. That's what you got on your thing. So people want to be in paradise.
Yeah. So it's just interesting because some of the numbers, I was looking at some information here. It was talking about the people coming here, and as I go through my notes, folks, why don't while I'm looking for that, why don't you tell our audience who you are, what you do, and a little bit about yourself.
Sounds good. My name is Tristan Emond. I'm with Mindful Living Realty up here in Rapid City, South Dakota. I did Mindful Living Realty is our own little private brokerage that my wife and I started back in 2016 when we decided we could probably do this ourselves, and we've been doing it ever since, and have been very happy with that. We have 4 kids, all of which are adults now, so they're kind of living their own lives, and they're out of the house, but kind of not out of the house too. So, it's one of those things. But yeah, we're looking forward to kind of getting done with 2024, moving on to 2025 for sure. Same thing for you here in South Dakota. Just as a reference point, there isn't even 1 million people in the state of South Dakota altogether, and we've got 770. So I mean, there's we're a pretty big state at that. It takes us 4.5 hours to drive across the state from Rapid City to Sioux Falls on the eastern side of the state. So, we could probably put, 4 or 5 of us in your area by the whole state into your area, just to kind of give you an idea of how sparse we are, how remote we are up here. But a lot of people that have come up here and bought homes in our area in the past few years, that's what they wanted. They wanted to get away from the big city. They wanted to get away from the traffic. And that's kind of what we have here is basically no traffic. And we here in Rapid City are right next to the Black Hills. So we've got all the things happening in the Black Hills, the nature, the hiking, the snowmobiling, all the things, but we got winter too. So a lot of people don't want to do that winter thing. So
yeah, that's when they turn around and head down to my neck of the woods.
Then I send them to you.
They buy a second condo and they live down here until the ice starts to thaw a little bit up there in the Northeast and the Midwest where it gets super cold.
Yep, I know a number of people. That's what they did. They decided I'm going south, and Florida's where they went.
Yeah, definitely. What I was looking up some of the numbers. So some of the numbers for the population in the state of Florida has increased for 12 years in a row, from 2010 to 22, growing by an average of 1.4% per year. In 2022, the population increased by 1.9, and in 2023, it increased by 1.6. And as of April 1st, 2023, Florida's population was estimated to be at 22,635,000, which is a 5.1 increase from the 2020 census. So yeah, it's getting crowded here in the Sunshine State.
Well, it'd be kind of interesting to see what happens in the next 2 to 3 years if that changes any. I mean, I'm sure that you're still seeing people come, but what point do some people say, "Screw it, I'm done. I've been here long enough. I don't do this anymore"?
That's probably another video for me to do, and there is a fair share of people, especially they had reports about the people after the hurricane that hit on the West Coast, and some of them are done. One of the mayors, I was reading an article, the mayor is like a 4th or 5th generation on Treasure Island, which is way up there in the Panhandle area of Florida, but his house was flooded, and he said he's going to move off the island, so I guess he's just going to live back a ways and still be the mayor. But I mean, at some point, how many times can you rebuild and not get sickened by it, and the cost? So
that could be your thumbnail title. Screw it, I'm out of here.
Yeah, I did a video about that a while back and stuff. And then, so Florida goes through that though. I moved here in 1992 when Andrew hit. I remember I moved here in the spring, and then that summer Andrew hit, and I was like, oh my God, what did I do? And although it hit Miami, which is 70 something miles, 80 miles away from me down in Homestead, it still frightened me enough to be like, wow, I'd never seen that kind of destruction. I grew up in Texas and we had tornadoes, but nothing like what I saw with Andrew. And there was an exodus of people. And then in 2004 and 2004, 2005, we had back-to-back years of hurricanes. Same thing. People packed up, they moved. A lot of them moved back to North Carolina, or if they're from New York, they'll move to North Carolina.
Yep.
And so we saw that, but then, 2020 hit and the world went nuts, and everyone and their mom moved to Florida, because why not work where it's sunny and you got beaches, and work from home and work anywhere.
Work anywhere remotely. Why not? Right.
Yeah. So now we're starting to see some people kind of pull out of Florida, but not in like major masses. Like people are saying, there's a lot of people that are, but obviously the numbers keep saying they're coming, and they expect more to keep coming. I saw another article that they're just still going to keep coming to Florida. So some of the areas that are getting the most, with like the biggest, obviously ones coming here and the ones with the money, a lot of the cash buyers are like baby boomers. So we get a lot of baby boomers that are obviously here, and they're looking, the 3 places that they're moving to are Jacksonville, Tampa, St. Pete, Clearwater, and Orlando, Kissimmee, and Sanford.
Yeah.
Those were like number 6, 7, and 8 on the list out of the 10 places. And it's interesting that especially the Tampa, St. Pete, after the storms and stuff,
Kind of took them out quite a bit, isn't it?
They're still coming. So people like, okay, it happened. What are the chances of it happening again? And we've been pretty fortunate on my area, in the Palm Beach area. I mean, last thing we had was 2005 was Wilma, and then we've had nothing really for all those years. So, but
I've seen you had some wind and some rain, but nothing necessarily terribly destructive.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we had the freaky tornadoes from Milton, which that was something that guys were like, we've never had that in the 30 years of being a reporter here.
Jupiter got hit pretty good with those tornadoes, right?
Yeah, Jupiter and really Wellington and North Palm Beach areas out west came across Wellington and went up that way, and then they got really bad up in Fort Pierce. So, and it was bad. I mean, it's weird because we were all, windows are boarded up, right? We got the shutters up and all that and everything. And for tornado or hurricane, but you're not, tornado's a different ball game.
Yep.
It doesn't care what you put on your windows. It's just going to start with your roof and go from there. So, but anyway, yeah. So they're still moving here, and we'll see what the market looks like, but 2025 is just around the corner as we roll into the end of this year and, roll into November. So I know, everyone's looking to 2025 and what's going to happen. What are you seeing up in your area? What do you see happening, or, the vibe that people are talking about 2025 in the real estate market for where you're at?
Yeah. So because we're so seasonal, we have our real estate market obviously flows in ups and downs. It starts January, February is usually pretty slow. It's going to hit the bonkers in spring, and that's going to settle down in summertime because we've only got 3 months of summer up here, right? So everybody's out exploring and having fun, and so the market, it doesn't go down. It doesn't go down a whole lot, but it settles a little bit. Kind of picks up back up September, October, and then back down again through November and the holidays. So pretty typically, we can always expect that come to spring, so the spring market, that things will hit back again. Now, this past year, I had a really crazy beginning of the year. I didn't have anything happening, but then about last half of the year, everything kind of turned out okay. But some people were having a great year, others were not having a great year. So with high interest rates, all the stuff going with the election, all the World War stuff going on, it just gave everybody a chance to pause and say, wait a minute, what are we doing? I'm going to wait and see. And especially the past couple months, we went from being 30, 40 days on the market to 90, 100 days on the market here this past couple months. So we started to see, I've got one home that I had listed on the market that was on the market for, I think, 75 days before we got an offer on it, where earlier this year, that would have been, 30, 60 days max. Are you
seeing buyers ask for more, like not afraid to ask for extended inspection or credits?
Picky.
Yeah. We can too. Yeah. But now, the buyer's market.
They haven't had a chance to pick for 3 or 4 years.
Right.
So now they've, it used to be, so we've got an Air Force base here, Ellsworth Air Force bases here. So back in the teens, I would have clients come into town to say, hey, I want to buy a house. And we would show them, over a weekend, 17, 20 homes, and they would decide which one they wanted to buy. I mean, that hasn't happened for, the past 4 years. I had people come into town this last week, and we probably looked at 12 different properties. You've got more options now. So because you've got more options, it's like, hey, maybe we want this, or maybe when they know that there's plenty more options out there, so they know they can ask for more. So yeah, I've definitely seen more of that kind of come into play, and sellers are willing to do what it takes to get it sold because they got somewhere else to go. So, but with to really answer your question, that was kind of background. To really answer your question, what I see kind of coming forward now that this has settled down, and for me personally, in my area, a lot of people that I've helped move into the area have been people who like the politics of the state. They want to get away from what they're into, and they do like the politics. So since the presidential election kind of turned out the right way for our state, I would expect that to continue. People are like, okay, we're good now. We can keep going, and the thought will be, well, we can continue our thought forms. I'm working with a number of people that are interested in moving in this area and are maybe talking about next year. So,
is your, we not going the rabbit hole, we'll stay away from it, but tipping around the politics.
Yeah.
Florida was typically a big swing state. I remember when Bush, right, and
yep,
Gore, like Florida was like, they were everywhere. It was like money was just being spent hand over fist. Florida wasn't even a factor for them. They just said it's red. So it was. Now, was South Dakota, is it red or blue?
Red. Oh yeah, they didn't even. They hit it red in 10 minutes. I mean, and we're typically, even like the past midterm election, it was still 65% red. So, wow. And that's the way we've been for a while. A pretty strong conservative state across the board. And
it's funny because where I'm at, Palm Beach County, and below us, Broward, which is Fort Lauderdale, it's very blue, which is interesting. It's very blue, even though, I see a lot of the Trump flags and everything going around in Palm Beach County, but there's I guess I knew that, but I was just, because for some reason last night I was shocked to see that, because Florida's been such a red state, but it's more in the upper panhandles areas and stuff like that. So but it went quickly too, the same thing, went that way, but and I've heard that, I've seen videos or comments in my videos, and people will, hey, we're moving to Florida because Governor DeSantis, or we're leaving Florida because of Governor DeSantis. You get both. You're going to get both all the time in your videos, whatever it is. I'm always same thing on our side. People either love our governor or hate her, one or the other, and it's either in or out because of that. Yeah. So but yeah, I mean, as I've still heard, I know the interest rates have gone up lately. Yeah. That they're still, I mean, they went back up to 7s or something, didn't they? Yeah, they're right at 7 or just below 7. And so, So, and I still have heard that they anticipate that they'll be going down into the 6s in the next year or so. So my anticipation would be that, that people, okay, so we got the politic mess out of the way. We're okay with where things are headed economically. My job is okay. Okay, so we're ready now to make this move. And if the interest rates align, then we're going to make it happen. I was looking while you're talking, I was looking at the Florida market. They were saying that one article I was reading says, it says the Florida housing market is expected to slowly thaw in 2025. It's a funny word for Florida, thaw. But despite the home sales remain low compared to past trends, newly built homes make up about 30% of overall inventory, yet the total housing supply is tight at just 2.3 months. That's the whole state of Florida. Here in Palm Beach County, I can tell you that I had that little PDF I sent you, but it was about, I think we're at 4.5 months now. Yeah, you can pull it up if you want. Is it? Yeah, you can pull it up. Yeah, so this is this is Palm Beach County. By the way, you guys here watching, thank you so much for joining us live. I appreciate it. I see there's a couple of you out there. Thank you guys for popping on to Pints with Paul and listen to me and Tristan here. Guys, ask questions. Feel free to ask some questions. We'll do our best to answer them. Don't be shy. Please leave a comment over there. But so if you can see here for Palm Beach County, you were talking about days, the days on market. You can see the median days was 24 last year, and it's 42. 42. And I've seen lots of hundreds. Trust me. And then we're months of inventory. We got 4.9 compared to 3.3. And this is for the single family homes. But if you go down to townhomes, this is the big one. And this goes towards the condo crisis. Look at the number. Look at the months of inventory, doubled. Yeah, I mean, 100% increase. Yeah. I mean, there's just so many condos out there, and that is a lot to do with the condo crisis, which I've been talking about in a lot of my videos about, the assessments and all this stuff. But going back to this thing about what they're talking about in Florida, they were just saying, investors and home buyers should note that mortgage rates are forecasted to decline to about 6.4. This will help some financial burdens, but may not be enough for a significant sales boost. And again, that's, the numbers always run up and down and everything. But but the condos, but the condos is the big word for us for 2025. Like, what's going to happen with the condos and the condo market? And there's a lot to that, because there's the whole assessment situation, the milestone inspection that came from the whole collapse, and
right.
All those.
Okay, I got a question for you, which probably some other people are going to ask the same question.
Yeah.
So my wife and I, we love Florida. We love visiting Florida, shall I say? And every year, usually we go down there, and my wife loves the ocean. So we've thought many times, some point we probably want to buy a private balcony on the beach condo, because we don't want to take care of a house, right?
Right.
So if I am thinking about buying this in the present market, what are you going to tell me? What are the things I need to watch out for in this current crisis that you're talking about?
Well, you need to watch out for buildings that were occupied before. So the way the milestone inspection works is a milestone inspection, and this I'll just read off here. They're required for buildings that are at least 25 years old, or 3 stories or more, and occupied before 1992. And basically, they're also within a few miles of the ocean, right? I think that's one of the factors they said.
That makes sense.
Sorry, something's in my eye, guys. I apologize, but these milestone inspections are due December 31st. You either have to have it done, or you've had to contract it an engineer or an architect. At least show that you got proof that you paid them and you got a contract and they're going to do it. You don't necessarily have to have the repairs or the money set, but you do need to at least get the inspection done. So then they can see what issues are wrong with the building, and then they can look at it. So if you're looking at a condo and you're looking at something here in the state of Florida that may fall into that, you're going to want to look at all their condo docs, which you have a right to. And with the contracts that we use, Tristan, for here, you'd have a contract and you have a writer that gives you right to ask for all the docs. Right. You want to get a copy of you want to ask them, or your realtor that's going to work for you here, have they had a milestone inspection? Did they do their structural integrity reserve study? Have they looked at the building, and when's the last time they got an insurance, right? Did their insurance policy just renew, or is it going to be renewing? Because if it's going to be renewing, say next month, there's more than a 99% chance it's going to go up, which is going to affect your HOA fee, which is what happened to a lot of people. So you want to look at all the documents. You want to ask for those documents. You want to make sure that you get the minutes, right, from their board meetings, because you want to know if there's any assessments coming up that maybe they voted on. Maybe they said, hey, we need the new pool to be resurfaced and all that. And that's something that's going to be coming up. Remember, the structural integrity reserve is looking at key items: concrete restoration, fire, elevator, safety stuff. They're not looking at new patio furniture for the pool and all that. But those are things that in a condo you're going to pay for, because it's an association, right? And everyone kind of shares the general cost of everything.
So I'm assuming that on the engineering report or whatever, you hire a contractor, you get all this work done that needs to get done. Right. That's going to get split between everybody. Is that how that's going to get paid?
That's typically how it works. Yeah. So if you own more than one, you're going to get hit with a higher assessment. But yes, the problem that a lot of people are being hit with here in South Florida is that they bought these condos similar to what you and your wife want to do. They bought them as an retirement property. Now they retired. They're older. They're not making the same income, but they're on fixed income. And when they bought it, it was at a reasonable price. Even if it was cash, and they still had these monthly fees. And, look, some of the buildings did the right thing, and they had the assessments a little at a time. So it's kind of an annoyance, but it wasn't a big burden. Right. Some of them were allowed to vote no, which was one of the major problems we're facing. Yep. And when it was brought up to the people and the board said, we want to do this, we need new railings for every unit. And they'd say it was going to be this much. And they'd be, nope.
Don't care.
I'm moving back to South Dakota next year. I don't care. Leave it for the next guy. Or I'm probably not going to be alive, whatever it was. They kicked the can, as they said. And so now it's this huge problem, because you got all these health issues, right? The buildings want to look at that, and they got all these problems, and they got to fix them all. And so they take that and they get to, so some of these places have gotten like $30 million quotes.
That's what I thought.
And they spread that out. And depending on the number of homeowners or condo owners there are, some people, like the one guy in my one video, his one assessment was $224,000.
No problem. Just write the check.
Yeah. Right. So, and people are like, well, just sell your condo and go rent. I mean, that's
but who's going to buy it? I mean, you also have to pay $225,000. That's an expensive
and he has
condo.
to pay it, because a lot of them, and I'm not an attorney, and I'm not a condo association expert, but I've been told that a lot of the verbiage says due on sale clause, which means any assessments, any late fees, anything they owe the condo association has to be paid in full at the closing, which would include a $225,000. Yeah. So pay that up, you can sell your property all you want. So that's kind of what we're seeing. And that's a lot of what my videos have been about this year. And it's weird because people have made comments of, why do you make those videos? You're a realtor. You try not to get people to buy. And it's like, no, I'm a realtor that wants people to know what's going on. I'm an honest guy. I'm trying to share. Look, it's happening. So why bury my head in the sand? That's not the point. My idea is to share with you what is happening and look around, because there are good condos that did do their work and have done their work. We just sold one. It's going to be closing. It was great. They had the milestone inspection, no problems. They had money in the bank. The management did a good job, and we got a asking price offer. So,
So if I come and I decide, hey, I've got this condo, but it's built in 1997, shouldn't I still be concerned about those inspections, et cetera? Or is that something
you should always be concerned about inspections, and you should always review the docs, because you're buying into a condo building, right? Which is a shared unit, and you're responsible for maintenance, whether it's now or 5 years from now, you're going to be responsible for some maintenance. So you should always, that's one of the things you have in Florida. We have what we use is called an as-is contract. And in an as-is contract, you typically have like anywhere between 0 and 15 days to do what's called your inspection time, right? So within that time frame, you can do your inspection and all that. But you also have a condo rider that says you have 3 days to review these documents. It kind of coincides with the inspection, because no one's going to wait for you to do your inspection before they send you those docs. I mean, unless they're not a very good listing agent, and then say, oh, by the way, here's 3 more days to decide to cancel on us. I'm sure the seller would love it. But anyway, you have the right to get all the documents. They have new documents that came out from the Florida Board of Realtors and the lawyers. So you can ask for all the documents. They have to tell you if there was a milestone inspection. And obviously, if they did find anything, they're supposed to share with you some to what I haven't actually had to do it yet, where we've had to see one. So I haven't been privy to see, work with the buyer and say, yeah, we want to see the report. But since they've made some of the changes in the past, I've done lots of condo sales where we had the regular documents and stuff. But now you can ask for all that. So yeah, you're going to want to get all those documents and then review them with your realtor and be like, okay, does this look good? Do they have the finances? Let's look at their notes. Are they planning on doing anything? Maybe they did their milestone inspection and everything was great, but in their notes, they still have something else planned down the road, that might not be structural, but would still cost you money.
Right.
So just got to, it's, look, like I said, there are condos that are in great shape. I tell people all the time, there's certain ones out there that are great, and where the market's at right now, it's a good time to buy one if you can find one in good condition, because it's still, it's a huge buyer's market. You got the upper hand. There's so much inventory. You just got to find the right condo and go from there. I'm trying to see if there's any. I don't see. No, I'm surprised. No comments. So we got people watching, but we got a shy crowd tonight. No one wants to ask us any questions. So, anyway, yeah. So yeah, I mean, just do your homework. Have you and your realtor. You said if you're looking up there in Orlando area, and stuff. If that's where you say Orlando, is that what you're thinking?
No, it's just in general. My wife likes the ocean waves, so you probably have to be on the eastern shore. But
well, then yeah.
Give you a call.
Give me a call. We'll go hunting for one. We'll go make a video together. But
sounds good.
Yeah, there's still plenty of good buildings and plenty of associations that did the right thing. There's just so many condos here. And unfortunately, some of them didn't. So, but again, that's what's going to, they're going to get these reports and these inspections that are going to get, hey, oh, there we go. What is one of our friends? Let's say like there's like Mr. Philip Randolph. What's up, buddy?
Man's here.
So, it's been crazy. But I helped a buyer buy a condo recently, and everything was great. And there was a small assessment, and we worked out a deal where the price and the assessment, they lowered the price to make up the right, because the seller, it all worked out. And my customer was happy with it, and the seller was happy with it. And, they have a nice little condo there. So,
do you feel that the condo sales have that's part of the reason that they've, even though it's not on every building, because all this news has kind of come out that people have been I'm not going to buy one because, without all the information, they've just said, no, I'm just not going to buy one because they're all bad?
Oh, I've had, I can't tell you how many comments I get from people, and they're like, "Oh, thanks. We were thinking of moving." And this is what I was saying. I've had people say, "We were going to move from New York, Paul, but we're not going to buy a condo in Florida now." I'm like, that's not, I kind of laugh, but look, whatever.
Yeah. Just
Whether
watch
that
the whole
scares me.
video, not just one of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think until we figure out what's going on, I'm sure some people are worried about it. But listen, a condo is so
Yeah.
much different than a home. You're buying into a building with shared responsibility. You own a house, the AC goes out, you don't have 15 other people deciding whether the AC gets fixed or not.
Yep.
You may have a guy that's I don't know, he loves sweating and he's not worried about it, or
Who cares? Yeah.
Yeah, sweat's good for you. Yeah, it makes you strong.
Rub some dirt in it.
Yeah, where me, I'm like, no, man, I want that AC on 70 all day long in my house. So so you have to think about that when you're in a condo. It is a shared responsibility. You're part of a community. So and with that, but it's still a number one choice for people such as yourself who want to enjoy South Florida as an investment property that they could rent out maybe when they're not here. And that's another thing you want to look at is what are the rental restrictions on a condo? Can I rent this out when I'm not using it? Now, your higher rents are obviously going to be when you would want to be here to get away from the cold. But say 1 year you just don't want to come down, you can rent that thing out for top dollar in the winter. And then in the summer, it's just, it's totally different.
Right.
So, but so we'll see what's going to happen. I mean, that's the hope is that the interest rates are going to come down. Kind of going back to some of the key points they said about 2025 Florida housing market. The overall trends suggest stabilization rather than a significant decline in prices. You're not gonna, we're seeing prices drop, but I'm sure you get this on your comments. They're like, "Oh, I'm waiting to that $400,000 house is 200,000." Like, dude, you're gonna be waiting a lifetime. Yeah, you keep waiting.
Ain't gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen. But that $400,000 house drops to 375 or 350. Yeah, we're seeing that. We're seeing some drops and stuff. We're seeing
we probably won't see that kind of a drop in that price point. If you're looking in the $400,000 type price point, you might get down to 380, something like that.
Yeah,
375 max maybe. But when you get up in the my last market report in our area, if you go from the $600,000 to $1 million price point, there's a year's worth of inventory.
Yeah,
that price point right now. So you can see some pretty heavy drops in that area, but that's kind of par for the course when you're in that kind of a price point.
Yeah, and as have been some of my listings are up exactly in that price range. They've been in the 9, the 7, and the 6. So you're right, even down here the 4, you're not going to really see a 4 drop to 350. That's probably a bad example, but I just mean that the people thinking that you're going to see it drop to half off, like not going to happen. No. But yeah, you're right, and that's exactly where we're seeing a lot of the homes, and I'm seeing. It's weird because the luxury market can do pretty well here, but I'm shooting a house in a few weeks that's going to be a luxury property. The realtor, said, "Yeah, you can. I'd love you to shoot it, please. I need attention on it." And it's like 200 something days. It's a $5 million property, but it's like 200 something days on the market, and we're seeing a lot of them cancel. I go look at the expired, and a lot of expired on the high end. So I think there's still a lot of people that they can afford it, and I think hey, I'm just going to try it. I want this for my house, and I'll put it out there, and it doesn't sell, but it's not affecting them as much as someone that has to, hey, I got to move. I've got a job transfer. Yep. I need to sell this house.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and I think we will start seeing, again, I think that's the same scenario of waiting. I'm not going to spend I'm not going to spend millions of dollars on something or make this huge move unless I know for sure that the economy is not going to crash or this is all, what's going to happen. I'm going to make sure that's a little more stable before I make a move. So I can see that happening on that end too.
Yeah. And I think with now that the election's done, that obviously always affects the markets. So we'll start to see, the market had a little bump today, obviously, but we'll see how that goes into 2025 and where that plays out, depending on how the inflation plays. Yeah. The people that have the money for the $1 million homes and whatnot, whether they're going to start jumping back in and going out and doing it stuff, and everyone else. If the interest rates come down, again for Florida, they say that the home prices will steady. They're not going to go crazy, but they're going to stabilize here. And we've already seen prices drop. So, it's happening. We just need to get the interest rates down more. I would love to see a 6. I'd love to see a 5 in front of those interest rates. I mean, I'd love to see 4s, but I just don't think we ever will.
Yeah,
but,
that's a bit of a pipe dream, I think.
But if we can get it down to like the 5s and somewhere like there, I think that would really get people back out.
I think I saw someone say something about 1% down gives 1 million people the opportunity to buy a house. That's the fact that brings it to the point where 1 million more people can buy now.
Oh, that's interesting.
A huge number.
That's interesting. Yeah. I mean, we look at, and I don't have a chart to do it, but you just look at some of the numbers. When people bought homes, like a $500,000 house when the interest rates were 3% compared to a $500,000 house now, which the median price for a single family home in Florida is, I know in Palm Beach County, it's $600 and something thousand. Yep. I mean, that's,
Yeah. In our area, we're at about 400,000 median now.
Yeah.
But I was looking at even like a $300,000 home, which the more affordable, the people that need a home, that's kind of where they would be at 7% ish. That's about $2,500 a month with our taxes and insurance, etc. That's not easy to afford for a grocery store clerk kind of thing, right?
No.
Minimum wage is kind of tough.
Yeah, and then that's my one of the things I'm kind of hoping we see here is we see some more job growth and some more companies. That's Palm Beach County would do well if we had some good tech jobs coming in. We are getting Vanderbilt University's putting a place down here. They're expanding their college. That's only so many jobs and whatnot, but the cost of living for the homes right now, the way it's been, has really hurt the middle class. And contrary to what a lot of people think about us as realtors, listen, the more people who can afford to buy homes, the more happy we are. We're not looking to just hit the rich people, folks. Yeah. I'd much rather sell 4, 5, 10 $400,000 homes than the one big one. Sure, the big one would be nice, but the reality is the more people you help, because then they have more friends, right? They tell their friends and so on.
It's all a thing.
Yeah. And then you get to sell their house when they have a baby. And so obviously, from my perspective, and I'm sure you and most of the realtors I know, we would love to see the interest rates come down. We'd love to see the home prices come down reasonably, not enough to affect people, right? We don't want to have people losing money that own those homes. But I think we're going to see that. I think there's people who bought, I've seen a lot of homes that were bought in 2024, the beginning of the year, like luxury homes, and they bought them for like 1.2, 1.3, and they're putting them on the market and they're not moving. And they're putting on the market quick, like within 6 months of buying it. Oh. And I think they're realizing they bit off more than they can chew. Right. And now they're trying to sell it and they're not moving. And that's, So, but
that's tough for sure.
Yeah. What else? Let's see. So
you got a question here.
Yeah. Oh, let's see. Enjoy your channel. Oh, let me go back. Let's see what enjoy your channel, Paul. Similar to others. Paul, is it similar to other areas of the country where more affordable first homes are moving quicker than others, than more affordable first homes? Well, I mean, if the homes, if you can find, like, it's funny. We used to have 3-bedroom with a pool house down here when I started, 250,000, 275, and it was a decent house. It wasn't grand, may not have the fanciest kitchen. I mean, that house now is 500,000 all day. It's so, and the condos, well, at least for, here in South Florida, condos were my go-to for a lot of first-time home buyers. Like, hey, let's get you into a condo, build equity. It's a great place. It's just you don't have any kids. You got a small dog. It works for you. Sell it, upgrade, move into a house, right? Or townhouse. But then everything just went so expensive that, finding a single family home is almost impossible. It's like you have to put them into the townhouse now. The townhouse is really my option for a lot of my buyers that are just like, hey, it's our first home, because, a lot of times it's somewhat affordable, but even those are in the 400s. So is it similar to the other areas of the country where the more affordable are moving quicker? Yeah. I think everything right now is a little slow, to be honest, at least here in Palm Beach County. From when I've talked to realtors, everyone says it's slow and things aren't moving. But you're always going to have some agents that are, the right house, beautifully done. They're going to go quick. So, I think
right
the
property,
biggest,
right price, right area is always going to be sell relatively quickly. But yeah, the price point is big there because like we kind of talked about already. With a year's worth of inventory on the $1 million homes, it's almost like 3 months or 2 or 3 months worth of inventory on the under 600 crowd. So it's like if you're in the higher end community, that's a buyer's market. If you're in the under 600 crowd, that's a seller's market. It's really kind of weird. I mean, it's in the seller's market in the numbers, but it doesn't really feel like a seller's market, if you know what I mean.
Right. Yeah, I mean, the hardest thing for first time, this is one of the biggest challenges when I'm working with buyers down here, whether they're first time buyers or if it's Tristan coming here and say, hey, Paul, I want to buy a place down here, and we're going to use it as a house. It is the insurance and the roofs, right? So if the roof doesn't, when you buy a house and you get to the point where you're doing your home inspection, they do what's called a 4-point inspection and a wind mitigation report. And the wind mitigation, they're looking at the roof and all that. The inspector gives this report to the insurance company that you're going to get a quote from. And if they don't see that it has, well, it varies, but I think a lot of them say they want to see at least 5 years of life left into it. And then you hope you can find an insurance company that will let you write a policy on it. Because if you're financing and you can't get insurance, you're not going to get the house. Sure. So, and most of the young people or first-time home buyers aren't cash rich, right? They're not paying cash for this house, so they're financing it. The insurance companies have gotten to where, like, I mean, roofs that are supposed to be like 25-year roofs, they're like, oh yeah, 15 years, So really looking for a house that is, if the roof is like 10 years, then I'm interested. If it's more than 10 years old, I mean, there's a lot of times where we're just like, yeah, well, I don't even know if you want to go down the road with it, because it's hard, because if you can't get insurance, the deal's dead. And it used to be that you could get the deal done, get a credit for a roof. Maybe the seller paid some money and you had some extra money, a credit, and then you'd be like, okay, we'll get a roof within 30 days of closing. And that used to work. But I've been told from more than a couple insurance guys that even the pool here, Citizens, right, the state pool insurance, they're like, no, we want the roof on before you even close. Yeah. So there used to be some things where you had a little bit of time that they gave you. And from my understanding, they're not anymore. So
yeah, you could pull up the Paul, you pull up the slide. Yeah. And so this is the average home insurance rates by state. So here we go with Florida, second to last, with the $3,000 increase from the past. What is this? Yeah, you're 3,000 above the national average.
Yeah,
in Florida. Interestingly enough, South Dakota isn't much better. We're 500 above the average, but we don't have. There's only we're in the bottom 15, 20 here, and that's because wind and hail,
yeah.
Wind and hail, that's what's happening.
On the roof, right?
Yep. Oklahoma, wind and hail.
Yeah.
This is more
flood
insurance. Yep. Nebraska is wind and hail. So that's what's kind of happening in these higher rates. But yeah, I mean that's insane right there.
Yeah. It was, what was it, somewhere, I forgot what it was, but insurance has gone up 400% in Florida, and I forgot what it was. It's just ridiculous. And that's the problem, so you really have to search for the right house. And thank you for your question, by the way. I really appreciate it. And thank you for enjoying watching my channel. It means a lot. Thank you so much. It's listen, I could be pity party, but it is what it is. People are still buying homes. People are still finding a way to buy and sell homes. You just have to work. You have to, like, I know when I'm working with my buyers, I'm looking and I'm advising them, saying, hey, the roof on this house is pretty old. Do you want to? And some of them will be like, they'll chance it, and some like, yeah, I don't want to mess with it. Because
it's funny when we talk about pretty old, because the house that we bought, that I'm sitting in right now, we bought for our office, and the person who had it was using it as a vacation home. They were just coming and going every once in a while, and when we bought the home, we were like, how old's the roof? Well, it's pretty new. It's 11 years old, and I'm like. In our area, if a roof lives 11 years without getting hail damage, that's pretty amazing. So of course we made sure that, and it was of course hailed out, because we'll get a good hailstorm once every, if you, like I mentioned, if your roof lives 10 years, I'm pretty surprised.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, so that's part of the challenges with that, and that's what makes it hard, because there are probably some. I'm working some young buyers right now that are we've been trying for a while to find them their first home. And it's I feel for them, man. It's like tough, because
It's tough.
they want to buy a home, but everything we look at that's in the price range, it either needs a ton of work or it just won't pass. We just, when we talk about it, and that, or if the taxes, with everything, and we're looking at non-HOA neighborhoods, right? Because they don't want an HOA. Add an HOA to it, and that's an extra $300 to $500 a month on someone's mortgage.
Yep.
That affects their DTI, debt to income.
Not gonna work. Yep.
They don't want that. So, yeah. So, but I mean, there's still, people are buying the properties. I've got 3 under contract right now, although 2 of them are cash. So, you know, the cash buyers find it, but I'm a little older, and a lot of the when I work with buyers, a lot of the buyers are in my age, so they're looking similar, like what you will look for a retirement property or a second property. But I do get some first time home buyers as well. People that are moving to South Florida, and they find my YouTube channel and like, hey, we really seem to know the area. We'd like to work with you, and you get out there. So we'll see what happens. When we go into this year, it's a new year coming up, and some new policies, and we'll see what that's going to be. Speaking of policies, I know you and I talked about this. Let me find my notes. Being that where is it? There wasn't a whole lot. What did I do with that? Let's see where I had my note talking about. It was kind of what the 2 presidents were going to do, and right. I don't know. I'm sorry. This is why I need a screen. So I need to get a screen. Actually, I know that they were looking at making it easier for builders. I know it was Trump's policy since he won. Some of the things that he was talking about doing was opening up more federal land for building, to have more land, right? So they can build more buildings. They still need more housing. Everyone agrees on that. No matter what party you're on, more housing, more options for buyers would hope, lower the prices if there's more inventory out there.
Yeah, the problem with that is you're not going to build your way out of the inventory issue. There's just not enough time. The construction money, and the money to build isn't going down. So, right. I mean, we have 1,400 square foot homes that are $350,000. That's not necessarily affordable. It is, but it isn't, depending on who you talk to. But, it's tough. Yeah,
so I don't know. We'll see what he does with that. I mean, who knows? Hopefully, people get more money in their pocket or whatever. If the economy gets better, and the prices level out a little bit. And the biggest thing I think we can hope for is that those interest rates drop, because that, like you said, the payment, right? If they can get the interest rates down, they can finance that house, even though it's more expensive than what it was years ago. Yep. If that interest rate's down, then that payment's not $2,500. Maybe
get the $1,800. Inflation down a little bit, so people can afford more in general. We live in a very tourist area. Of course, people come to the Black Hills to be here. And what I talked with a client of mine that lives in the middle of the Black Hills in a town called Hill City, and she's got a little cafe shop there. And I asked her, I said, so with the election kind of going on and kind of people seeming to not have as much money, what have you seen? And she says, we know every year, election year is down. We've seen it year after time. So we bought like $25 items. So people could least-wise buy a little something. They don't buy a big $50 sign. They just buy something small. And then she says, the parents were taking their kids out for ice cream, and the kids would eat ice cream, but they wouldn't. So people are still doing things, but they are doing a little bit less in a sense to save some money and make it work for them and their families.
Interesting. Yeah, it's so our season starts about now. The Snowbirds are starting. They've been arriving. It's November. They start coming in October.
Damn South Dakota drivers.
Huh?
Damn South Dakota drivers.
So those watching, if you don't know what Snowbirds are, it's what we call the people from the Northeast who come down to South Florida. So I mean, there may be someone watching that has never heard that term, never know. So we'll start seeing, but it's been a little quiet. Some of the areas, the avenues and stuff have been a little quiet down here as well and stuff. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. People come out and start spending again, and how many people come to South Florida this winter, and There's the buildings still going on. There's a lot of the luxury still going on. A lot of high rises are popping up. Obviously not in our price range. Starting points at like 2.5 going up to 5, and then some of them are like going up to $20 million. So a lot of luxury condos. Yeah, let's go get one of those. That's what I got one for you guys. We'll take you down there and put you right there looking over Palm Beach. It's a nice $25 million condo.
Not a problem.
Yeah, about a $6,000 a month HOA fee on top of it.
Kill me now.
Yeah. So, but so it'd be good to see. If the people come down and we'll start seeing what happens with everything. But like places like Miami are just still booming, and it's just crazy that 70 miles south, the building there is just nuts in Miami, and there's so much money coming in from Latin America. In Florida, our two biggest foreign buyers, the number one is Canadians. Canadians are one of the biggest foreign buyers and investors for property here in South Florida. But second to that, I was shocked, is Colombia. The Colombians are bringing in boatloads of money. So they just say they're buying properties left and right down there. They're coming in and buying these luxury condos in Miami. These buildings are popping up. It's weird. It's like Miami is like Dubai right now.
Everybody, right?
Yeah, the high rises are just going way up. It's just a whole different. And it's I don't get there much because it's just an hour to drive there and stuff. So, but Philip says we visited Rapid City in June 2018. Did the zip line at Keystone, where you can see Mount Rushmore from the. Oh, that is cool.
Whoa, that was way cool. I just did it last year with some friends for a birthday, and the zip line was fun, and just the view that you can get, because you basically climb up to some platforms, and then you're looking out at Mount Rushmore right there, and then you're zip lining right next to it as you go down. I mean, it's in the view, but yeah, that was really fun. Then we went down then they had an alpine slide, and we slid down that. It was a day. It was fun.
Yep. When I got one almost going off to college. So when he does, my goal for the wife and I is to get out and do a little more traveling and see some places here in America that we haven't been. So I'll have to hit you up and we'll come up there.
I'll show you around, my friend. I'll show you around.
Go up there and have a good time with it and stuff. So, well, heck, man, that's 52 minutes on the clock, and we had some.
Yeah, I got to go pretty quick, so we got to wrap this baby up.
Yeah, I didn't. It was good. So, well, you want to plug anything? You want to let people know how they can get in touch with you, how they can find you?
Sure thing. I mean, if you type in my name anywhere, I'm the only Tristan Emond you're ever going to find, probably. So, but I do have my YouTube channel, which is Living in Rapid City, which goes through. We've been doing this for 4 years now, videos, 4 to 5 years. Yeah, I have like 600 videos on my channel right now, including like all the shorts and stuff. It's insane.
Really?
So,
wow,
yeah.
Ask me. I think I have 400.
Yeah, well, I probably don't have 400, but like last year, I started doing a lot of like shorts, and I did 2 or 3 a week for a while, or 2 a week, and so I kind of populated that pretty quick. Nice. But yeah, I mean, so there's a lot of information about the area. You can check it out. That's usually the best bet, is just to go to my YouTube channel, check out all the videos, check out who I am, all the things. So
there's his name right there, folks. You can see it says Tristan Emond. Go look that and check him out on YouTube.
Living in Rapid City.
Living in Rapid City. Yep. You find him and check him out. He's a good guy. He makes some fun videos. He's like me. He has fun making those videos. We're not the serious YouTubers.
I had a Southern friend that said, if you ain't doing it right, you ain't doing it. Or if you ain't having fun, you ain't doing it right.
That's it. I mean, come on, if we're going to get out there and do that stuff. So, well, Tristan, I really appreciate you. It was great. It was so nice to meet you guys when you came down. Hopefully we'll see you again. You guys going to be down again?
Well, we hope to, but we're not sure based upon how the damage are everywhere. So, but hey, if it's not too bad of your way, then we'll go down your way.
Other than some areas with the tornadoes, Palm Beach County is beautiful. The beaches weren't touched at all.
That's what we need.
You can go there, Jupiter, where you guys like. Everything's gorgeous up there. Juneau, I'd love to meet you guys this time and sit down, get a drink and bite with you and your family. So go check them out. Thank you for your time, buddy. I appreciate you coming on. And to everyone else, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you joining Pints with Paul. I try to do this every Wednesday. It's just a way for me to connect with y'all, let you ask questions. Please ask questions who come here. Hey, a late comer, Sue. Sue, thanks, Sharon. Always interesting. Interest most of your videos. Thanks, Sue. I appreciate that. Not all my videos, but most of my videos. I'll take that.
Yep, run with it.
Make everybody happy.
Run with it.
So, but thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe. You guys know where to find me, and this will be recorded. It's being recorded, so it'll be for playback. And yeah, hey guys, going into the weekend, have a great time. I'm going away. I'm gonna go. You guys see it in the background there. Hook 'em horns, baby. We're gonna go watch them play the Florida Gators in Austin, Texas, my native state. I'm going back home. Gonna have some fun with my family and my boys. College time, just a guy's trip. I'm super stoked about it. So there will be a new video up at 10 a.m. Sunday. So be sure to watch that, folks. And everyone else, be safe, be happy, and wherever you are in the world, I'm late to watch. Get out and enjoy paradise. You're late, Sue. We're leaving. So all right. Thanks, everyone. Take care.